Peace. Is there any voice now? Some are saying there is sound, some are saying there is no sound.
Security. Oh, when you just put that aside.
Ghana were not covered the thing. We all have Biafra. Excuse me, what's up? One family. One family. Please, let's be silent.
May the soul of our fallen heroes and heroines rest in the bosom of the Lord.
You say.
So we start with our prayer. First person is Mazi Ephraim. Okay, please let's pay attention. It's very important.
Fellow Biafrans, we are gathered here today for Syria, 30th May 2022. To pay befitting Biafra memorial service and journey of remembrance, not only honor our heroes, but to ask the Almighty Creator, Tikoka Biama, to grant their spirits eternal rest in His kingdom. It is our custom, through the ages, for Biafrans to pay their respects to fellow departed Biafrans. Our thoughts and prayers are with all families, whose loved ones, father, mother, brothers, sisters, uncle, aunt, husband, wife, children, unborn children, nursing mothers, and many more were killed during the war, being killed, maimed, beheaded, massacred on daily basis by Islamic jihadists in Nigeria, and also all Biafrans who have died fighting for what they believe in. And at this moment, we invite every family and friends to remain coordinated for the memorial service and journey of remembrance. We remember our people who suffered and died so that we could be free and secure. May their memory be immortal in a distant shadow. We remember Major General Johnson Thomas Umunakwe Aguiyi-Ironsi. We remember Colonel T.C. Omutaegu
We remember.
Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas Ejike,
We remember.
Major Chukuma Kaduna Nzog,
We remember.
Captain GNE Ugo Ala,
We remember.
Major CG Anuforo,
We remember.
Major D.O. Okafo,
We remember.
Second Lieutenant A.D. Mbadiwe,
We remember.
Lieutenant ADC Ebuna,
We remember.
Captain A.L. Orok,
We remember.
Captain A.O. Agwet,
We remember.
Major B.E. Nnamani,
We remember.
Major Christopher Emeli Fonu,
We remember.
and our ESN commander Ikonso,
We remember.
using a lighted candle raising up the gift, we say, for their dream left unfulfilled and their lives taken too soon away from us and humanity, we remember. And may their courage be our inspiration and strength.
Meye onuzo, onuzo nke eluigwe.
Second reading from our remembrance.
The souls of the righteous and in the hand of the holy Catholic. And there shall be no more torment touching them. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken from it. They are going from us to be of destruction. But they are in peace, although they be punished in the sight of men. Yet is their hope full of immortality, and having been a little, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Chukwu Okikabiyama took them and found them worthy for himself. To remember our brothers and sisters, our fathers and mothers, and the children who sacrificed each the will of Biafra, faith and truth, love and justice alike. We remember Captain Chukwu,
Remember.
SCACM and Ede.
Remember. Remember. We remember. Remember. We remember. We remember. We remember. We remember. We remember. We remember. He said,
Biafra la Amen. Our first reading is from Mazi Christian Nwosu. All hail Biafra.
all hail Biafra.
Fellow Biafrans, we are called upon by the most solemn admonition to uncertainty of human life and the inevitable termination of all earthly pursuits. for we gather to pay a last farewell to our heroes, the brave men and women who died that we may live. These last offices and honor paid to our dead provide us an opportunity to express our sense of loss and to offer a tribute to their memory, while they enable us likewise to bear witness to our belief in the immortality of the soul. For life cut short and vision unrealized, we remember Lieutenant J.D. Ovu Ezirie,
We remember.
Lieutenant J.U. Uba,
We remember.
Captain Jonathan Egere,
We remember.
Lieutenant K. De Waribo,
We remember.
Captain L.C. Dilibe,
We remember.
Major Obi,
We remember.
Major O. Isong,
We remember.
Captain P.C. Okoye,
We remember.
Second Lieutenant P.K. Onyenebo,
We remember.
Second Lieutenant P.D. Ekediyo,
We remember.
Lieutenant S.E. Onwukwe,
We remember.
Captain S.E. Mmadu Ebom,
We remember.
Major T.E. Nzogu,
We remember.
Lieutenant P.O. Ibik,
We remember.
Captain R. Agbazue,
We remember.
using a lighted candle, raise it up facing the east, we say, may their courage be our inspiration and strength. We say.
The first reader, Mr. Mama Nicholas.
In particular, they remind us that our lives are to be lived in accordance with divine providence and ready to lay it down for the cause of Biafra and salvation of humanity. That we are diligently to work while it is yet day, so that when the call comes to lay down our tools, we may be found ready to enter into the kingdom of Chukokikabiam, God, where in his light we shall see light. We remember the fallen of our Biafran army services. We remember the victims of terror and tragedy. We remember the millions of defenseless women and men and children bombed in the market, stripped to their deaths in schools, hospitals by Soviet MiGs, and piloted by Egyptians. We remember WO1 Elijah Anosike.
We remember.
As Sergeant Iwom Ejogu.
We remember.
WO11 Ndareke Uwa.
We remember.
As Sergeant Davison Njoko.
We remember.
As Sergeant Silvanus Ezekwe.
We remember.
Sergeant Ivan Jim Udom.
We remember.
CPL Pius Dike.
We remember.
CPL Michael Afu Dike.
We remember.
CPL Johnson Abu.
We remember.
LCPL Gabriel Okezie.
We remember.
Sergeant Mbanefo Lawrence Ufurum.
We remember.
Using a lighted candle, raise it up facing the east, we say, may their courage be our inspiration and strength.
Hawurayowu kabiafara bịa. Hawurayowu kokwu Chukwu bịara mmezu. Hawurayowu kabiafara were bịanụ. Hawurayowu kabiafara were bịanụ.
Hawurayowu kabiafara were bịanụ. Hawurayowu kabiafara were bịanụ. Hawurayowu kabiafara were bịanụ.
While we sorrow for our loss, let us lift up our hearts in thanksgiving for their sacrifice. Fight well fought, life well spent, work well done. Let us humbly pray that we may be given grace, strength, and wisdom to enable us to perform our duty in the pathway of Biafra quest and of life service. May the darkness of their loss obscure the light of our peace. Then we are in love with the land of Biafra, and we are in love with life.
for the agony, tears, the mothers and fathers, and the children who were massacred. We remember Last Corporal David Isukuma.
We remember.
Private Fidelis Onyekwe.
We remember.
Private Mba Iroha.
We remember.
Sergeant Celestine Okafu.
We remember.
Last Corporal William Olani.
We remember.
Private Innocent.
We remember.
Last Corporal Joshua Onyejaka.
We remember.
Warrant Officer 1 Joseph Mba.
We remember.
Last Corporal Matthew Ndumuka.
We remember.
Staff Sergeant Joseph Ibekwe.
We remember.
Using a lighted candle, rise it up, facing the east, we say, may their courage be our inspiration and strength.
From the 6th Street and Mazi Desmond Alozie. Okay. Wanda Euteria Chuku.
Represented by Patience.
Okay, she's being represented by our sister Patience.
By the light of divine countenance, we shall then pass without fear in the face of our adversaries through the valley of the shadow, and at last shall receive the reward of true virtue, of truth and honesty, and acquire the possession of Biafra land and of an immortal inheritance. For death cannot keep us from the face of Chukwu Okike Abiama, whose strong grip will free us from Nigeria bondage and lift us out of shadow into the light that cannot die. In the numberless towns and villages in Nigeria and the rest of Africa and elsewhere in Europe and Asia, where we have lived in too many of them, we have endured cruel suffering, death in the land of our fellow human beings, just because of who we are. We remember SGT Afoboro.
We remember.
We remember Sergeant Peter Bassi.
We remember.
We remember Sergeant Robert Bassi.
We remember.
We remember Sergeant Michael Uche.
We remember.
We remember Sergeant Boniface Njibanese.
We remember.
We remember Corporal Timothy Isieni.
We remember.
We remember Corporal Sunday Amaoli.
We remember.
We remember Corporal Anthony Amaoli.
We remember.
We remember Corporal Paul Adauku.
We remember.
We remember Corporal Festus Nwa Odika.
We remember.
Using a lighted candle, raise it up facing the east, we say, may their courage, we say, some we have forgotten, others are seen in our memory, and that those may their courage be our inspiration.
N'ọtụtụ arọ na ike ọgwụgwụ lakwa ime ka anyị wee nwee Biafra la mara mma, ha nyere arọdụ gịnị ka gị nyegwe.
Mazi Desmond Alozie.
Generations of victims and martyrs, still their blood cries out from the what can we do? Accept what life has for our people. We know that all that was born must die, but how do we compare the slow passage of time with the callous slaughter and the starvation of millions of innocents cut off before their time? They lived with faith and hope. Not all, but most, and surely must die with faith in God, Chukwu Abiyama, in life, in the goodness that even flames cannot destroy. May we find a way to increase the strength of their faith. that trust, that sure sense that life and soul endure beyond this body's death. We remember Corporal Williams Abata.
We remember.
Corporal Okorie Abu.
We remember.
Corporal Wilfred Azubike.
We remember.
Corporal Reginald Green.
We remember.
Corporal Joseph Adaka.
We remember.
Lance Corporal Silence Uzomba.
We remember.
Lance Corporal Morris Ibekwe.
We remember.
Private Joseph Ibe.
We remember.
Private Colenius Uwoha.
We remember.
Private John Eke Juba.
We remember.
Using a lighted candle, raised it up facing the east. We say, may their courage be our inspiration and strength.
Last but not the least, Mazi Obichukwu Madu Ogo.
Almighty and the most merciful Chukwu Okike Abiama, in whom we live and move and have our being, and before whom all men must hereafter appear to render an account of the deeds done in the body. We do most earnestly beseech thee to impress upon our minds the solemnities and fame of this day. May we ever remember that in the midst of life we are in death, and so live and act our separate parts, that we may have no cause for sorrow or fear when the honor of departure is at hand. And on this we commit our being in pursuit of Biafra nation, that the souls of those who have died may find rest in peace. Your presence in Chukwu Okike Abiama's name we pray. Off your candle, please.
As you all march,
As you are marching, please hold your candle very well and do not use it to stain the hall. Find where you will keep it before you enter
Biafra, so Ada Biafra. Now we dey here. Now we dey here. Continue go do with this thing.
Biafra continues to see territories on all sides. The remaining population of Biafras were gradually being squeezed together into the later remaining Biafra.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Up to this very time, I want to congratulate us. From when we started up to this time, I want to congratulate us for respecting the rules and regulations being given to us. I want us to congratulate ourselves. Without wasting much of our time, please, I want us to get seated, please, because the Syndaco to be here in Padova is here in our midst, and he has one or two things to tell us. Please, let's get seated and let's noise. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to invite or present to us Honorable Francesco Pegini. Please, a round of applause. He is the Syndaco aspirant here in Padova. God bless you, sir.
Hello, good morning to everybody. I'm very glad to be here with your community. And as you probably know, I am a candidate for the center-right coalition in the community of Padova. And so I'm here to understand for your celebration and for asking you to evaluate, at least for the people living in Padova, to go for voting for our idea to change this city that is governed in in a way that we don't like very much. So I take my greetings to you and my best wishes for a good life in Padova. Thank you.
Grazie onorevole, sei benvenuti. I know ti pronunciamo come
Tali na your mate.
Please, the media team.
Hello, Biafrans. Please, the aspirant here, if we have the opportunity to vote, when the time comes for the election, we should remember those of us that have passports that we can participate in the voting. His name, we have his name, Francesco Pegin, which when you go there to vote, you see the place where his name is, then you cross it. So he needs our vote as well. And he's promising that he lost us as Biafrans. And when he becomes the Sindaco of Padova, he's going to see that we Biafrans, we are going to be living well here in Padova, not only in Padova, but other places in Italy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Please, our media team, are we ready? Please, let's just pay a little bit of attention. There is a documentary that will be shown to us that is being presented by the media, IPOB media team here in Italy. I don't know if they are ready. With this documentary that will be presented, if you are having handkerchief, or if you don't have handkerchief, we can get a tissue paper for you or facilitator. So if Obegi border, because that is what our people have been passing through, even right from 60s up to date. Is a painful one, but we must continue. As long as Lord is on our side, we must get there. Media. Are you ready? Please. Just a short documentary. Okay. As we are waiting for our media team to get ready with the projection, and I know we are a little bit hungry at this stage. Don't worry, very soon we'll all go out and entertain ourselves. Mazi Aganeku, and also Mazi Aganeku, Obungongo area.
And so upon its independence on the 1st of
All right, please, let's pay attention, please, very important.
The Nigerian state was divided into 3 geopolitical regions, in which a disproportionately large northern region was united with 2 smaller eastern and western regions. Nigeria's British-style parliamentary government was led by its first and only Prime Minister, Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, the northern co-founder of his political party, the Northern People's Congress. Tafawa Balewa's NPC party governed in coalition with the Igbo-aligned National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, which was led by Nigeria's Governor-General, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the man who would later go on to serve as the ceremonial president of the First Nigerian Republic, which was established in 1963. The Yoruba-aligned Action Group Party, which was headed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, played the opposition role. If unity was the goal, then the Nigerian state had gotten off to a very bad start. Nigeria's parliamentary system was a bit of a farce, as Nigeria's three main parties were not built around ideology, but on ethnic nationalism. With the vast majority of Nigeria's general population still largely unfamiliar with the Western-style democratic system of the new country, pretty much everyone voted based on ethnicity. The Southwesterners voted for the AG, the Southeasterners for the NCNC, and the Northerners for the NPC. And as the Northern region was by far the largest constituency, the NPC was basically guaranteed control over Nigeria, as none of the other two parties could compete with the NPC's large northern voting base. As you can imagine, it was only a matter of time before the shaky foundations on which the Nigerian state had been built began to show serious signs of strain. The entrepreneurial spirit of the Igbos would see many of them move out of their hometowns in search of all the opportunities their nation had to offer, from Lagos to Benin, Port, and even major northern cities like Kano and Kaduna. Igbos began to build businesses and pioneer new industries in the places they migrated to. But as is often the case with successful immigrants, it wasn't long before many of the locals, especially in the north, began to feel more than a bit uncomfortable with the success of their new neighbors.
Biafra. Oh, Biafra. IPOB. One family. Biafra, one teacher,
Biafra, one thing to get.
I'm looking at the joke. Biafra, one teacher, Olitanye Ario na Biko
Enyanyi Biafra, one thing to get. Live and direct.
God bless all of you for coming. This is IPOB Italy Media Introduction. The media you are watching is to be introduced properly. The reason for this documentary we put here is to be able to send our message in a more attaching way to the audience, to the world, because it's not only this, those of us here that are watching it, also we are airing it live to the world so that they may see why we are here today, what we are doing today, and why we are honoring and commemorating our dead, the heroes and heroines of Biafra. They died that we may live. Biafrans, we are alive today because our people died. They fought courageously. They stood before the armament of the enemies, Nigeria, in collaboration with British. And we have to say the truth the way it is, because that is why we are here. We are not hiding. We are no terrorists. We are civilized and loving people. Biafrans are very good people to be with. But the British came to the land of Biafra and decided to destroy our values, our human, our heritages, to hand over to the people who are more deadly than anything you can imagine. I don't have what to compare the Fulanis, because they are cannibal, they kill, they rape, they commit all forms of atrocities in the land of Biafra against our people. So now we will introduce you to this short documentary because some days back the British BBC and British Broadcasting Commission, which will now come as Freedom Broadcasting Commission or British Biased Commission, they did a documentary tarnishing the image of IPOB and Biafrans at large worldwide, especially the image of our leader Nnamdi Kanu, who is now being incarcerated in Nigeria JSS Dungeon. You can imagine a man traveled to Kenya for treatment. He was kidnapped. Our Italian guest, in few minutes, our sister, Sister Filato will be here to say some of the things I've said in Italian so that you people also understand it very well. So it's very, very important. Just say what you can get in your head. Just give them the message. So that is it. So the man traveled to Kenya and he was kidnapped in rogue way, you know, with collaboration with the Kenya government and Nigeria government. He was tortured almost to death. Only God spared his life, and it was extraordinary remission to Nigeria. And we know this is a crime against humanity. Even upon violating his human rights, they still locked him up in a DSS dungeon. Until today that we are here, nobody is doing anything, nobody is saying anything. The man appears in court with one clothes for almost a year, and the world silent, the world kept quiet. They are not doing anything. He is a British citizen. The British has done nothing. The Commonwealth Office has done nothing. The United Nations has done nothing. And we have no choice than to appeal to people of good conscience, our Italian government, and their representatives to pass this message to them. That what we are asking for is freedom. That we may live like human beings. We are scattered all over the world. It is not a crime. It is a right for people to self-determine where they want to be. We cannot be in Nigeria. The France can no longer be in Nigeria. And this is what we are saying. We are being killed. We are being massacred. Our people are living in fear. As we are seated here today, our people in the land cannot go out freely because the military have laid siege all over Biafra land, and they are killing our people day by day. So instead of the British Broadcasting Commission, the Babylon Broadcasting Commission, BBC, to report the truth of what is going on ground, they compiled a documentary to tarnish the image of victims of genocide. We remember committed genocide against France under the watch of BBC 1970. 5 million children were killed in cold blood. We cannot show the video or the pictures because it's going to be against their copyright, so they will ban it. But we have to explain it to the people so that they will understand why we are asking for what we are asking. So therefore, what you are about to hear now is just a brief history, okay, a very old history coming in time past even before the war. Some of the things that led to the war, some of the actions or some of the people that participated in the war to kill Biafran children through hunger, starvation, air, land, and sea blockade, that our people may die. But God are determined that we will not die, and we will not die. We shall live to see the land of Biafra. I encourage every Biafran that is here today, whatsoever you are doing, double your efforts. Italy are very good in hospitalizing, they welcome us very well. But the land of Italy is not our land. We have to go back and develop our land. This is why God created us. God never made the mistake to create us to give us the land of Biafra. But we are here for a reason. Some of us are here not very comfortable, maybe for us to fight for Biafra and go back to our land and live like human beings. We might not be comfortable here, but we enjoy it because this is our faith. This is what we find ourselves. But we have the choice to make a change. And this is the time for that change. Our leader is the DSS dungeon. We have to do everything to make sure he comes out and lead us into the promised land, the land of Biafra. So I encourage every Biafra here, whatsoever thing we are doing, come with us, be with us in this boat. And at the end of the day, victory shall be ours. Please, Madam upstairs, could you go ahead with the documentary as we all watch? Thank you very much. Okay, hold on. Master, they said she should explain before you do the documentary. So, thank you.
Però non ce la farò ad ricordare tutto quello che lui ha detto, quindi io li farò corto. Oggi sono un pochino scocciata perché i numeri di persone della quale dovevano essere qua non ci siamo manco un quarto. Però io, onorevole, mi voglio appigliare perché come ho visto questo, faccio parte della media lo stesso, ai più d'Italia, e quello che stiamo cercando di dire, quello che oggi stiamo facendo questa commemorazione, è quello che mi piace la parola che ha detto, sì è vero, Dio ci ha creati, sì è vero, siamo stati accolti, però non è la nostra terra, che c'è un motivo perché io molte volte mi sono abituato a uno
cercato di avere contatto, però nessuno ci ode in Italia. E questo è un privilegio che lei è qua oggi. E io voglio usare questo, perché io sempre a dire, io sono dalla Sardegna, non sono da questa parte, però quello che io voglio dire è che adesso per esempio state parlando dell'Ucraina, Ucraina, e la Biafra dove stiamo noi? Se io le posso dire il razzismo, io vivo qua da 28 anni, ma il razzismo continua ad esserci oggi. Allora, io personalmente sono grata perché in Italia mi sono raffinata, però da quello che mia madre mi insegnava ho acquisito un nuovo. Come ha detto lui, ce ne vogliamo andare a casa. Noi vogliamo, io personalmente credo anche tutti, pregheremo per lei nel suo percorso politico, ma noi chiediamo, perché abbiamo detto siamo figli di luce, figli di Dio, e veramente siamo figli di Dio. Quasi tutti i nostri nomi hanno Dio attaccata. Io sono Cidima, Dio è buono. Tutti ce l'hanno quei C nel loro nome. Quindi se lei prenderà a cuore oggi questo incontro, e lei venendo qua, lei dirà, ma che... Però io gli posso garantire che lei è una persona benedetta, perché è venuta qui oggi. Questo gliela posso dire. E io gli direi di usare questa opportunità, di ricordare questo popolo biafrano, di metterci voce per noi lì al Parlamento, di dire loro di fare qualcosa. Ne abbiamo scritti, ne abbiamo fatto un sacco di manifestazioni a Roma, nessuno ci ode. Quindi non è che adesso io voglio fare la testa AIG, però io la prego, rappresentateci, cioè se lei ci pensa a noi, a questo 5 milioni di persone, come noi, se noi lo mandiamo in diretta, ci bloccano perché andiamo contro il coso della media. Quindi oggi però vogliamo fare raccontarvi un pochino chi siamo all'interno della Nigeria. Noi non siamo nigeriani. Gran Bretagna ci hanno forzati, oppressi. E loro fino ad oggi, perché il nostro leader è il loro cittadino, che loro hanno in italiano, l'avvocato mi face capire che in inglese è straordinary rendition, in italiano non c'è una rendizione straordinaria a livello parola legale, non c'è. Però voi avete capito che l'hanno rapito in Kenya, maltrattato e poi reso alla Nigeria, che non è manco, lui non è cittadino, non è nato in Nigeria, è nato in Biafra, il suo certificato dice che è nato in Biafra. Quindi noi vi chiediamo, popolo italiano, padovano, quanto lei può, di non dimenticare questo nome, i biafrani. Adesso vi lasciamo, perché mi emoziona. Buona visione.
Grazie mille. Hai parlato bene.
With the second highest death toll of all African conflicts, the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, is perhaps the single most significant event in Nigerian history. This 3-year conflict, which raged on from the 6th of July 1967 to the 15th of January 1970, would claim the lives of over 100,000 soldiers and an estimated 2 million civilians, as the Nigerian government, led by General Yakubu Gowon, fought to prevent the secession of the self-proclaimed Republic of Biafra, which was led by General Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu. To fully understand the root cause of this brutal conflict, we need to go all the way back to the very beginning. Upon gaining independence from Great Britain in 1960, the newly formed Nigerian Republic was greatly divided as its 3 largest ethnic groups struggled to live in harmony. Beyond the more obvious distinctions like language, clothing, and marriage customs, Nigeria's 3 main ethnic groups also had fundamental differences in values and worldviews, which had been developed over the many centuries leading up to the colonial era and the formation of the Nigerian state. The Igbos, who represented about 60 to 70% of the population of the Southeast, were mostly Christians who in the centuries before the colonial era had lived in relatively egalitarian societies. Although most Igbo towns and villages were headed by monarchs known as Ezes, the political decision-making process within Igbo communities was actually quite democratic, as it involved general assemblies composed of title holders and other respected members of Igbo society. Status was acquired through one's ability to solve societal issues, and respect was given primarily to those who had acquired wealth, as opposed to those who had simply inherited it. The character of Okonkwo in the book Things Fall Apart by renowned Nigerian author Chinua Achebe was in many ways the perfect illustration of the uniquely Igbo vision of the self-made man. The Igbo's particular appreciation for wealth creation through hard work is undoubtedly the main reason why many of Nigeria's champions of industry have been of Igbo ancestry. By contrast, the majority Muslim Hausa Fulani, which represented about 65% of the northern population, had lived for many years in feudal societies in which large working-class populations were ruled by small theocratic elites composed of emirs and sultans. As their political leaders often doubled as religious leaders, compliance and submission to the will of the political establishment was not simply a civic duty, but a religious one. Very much unlike in Igbo societies, there was nothing particularly odd or shameful about a man aspiring to live a modest life as a farm worker, craftsman, or a nomadic cattle herder. But contrary to commonly held prejudices, the Hausa Fulani were not in any way lazier or inherently less enterprising than their southern counterparts. They simply had a deeper appreciation for religious discipline and had a conservative worldview. However, there is no denying the fact that while the unquestioning submissiveness of northern societies to the theocratic establishment guaranteed internal stability and order, it also meant that the North was a lot less economically vibrant. Northerners were generally less open to new ideas and often completely rejected secular education in favor of Islamic education. Demonstrating the extent of Nigeria's North-South divide, some studies estimated that as of Nigeria's independence in 1960, northern Nigeria had an English literacy rate of just 2%, compared to the Southeast, which had an English literacy rate of 19.2%. The Yorubas, which formed about 75% of Nigeria's southwestern population, were in many ways a sort of halfway house between the Igbos and the Hausa Fulani, both in terms of their religious affiliation and their political history. Although also majority Christian, they nevertheless had significant populations of Muslims as well as followers of the ancient Yoruba religions. In simple terms, the traditional Yoruba political structure was basically less autocratic than the Hausa Fulani, but not as democratic as the Igbo. For centuries, Yoruba societies were ruled by kings known as Obas, who governed in close consultation with chiefs, priests, and priestesses. Culturally, the Yorubas were quite similar to the Igbo in their appreciation for individual tribe and ambition. However, the Yorubas tended to channel their energies towards excellence in the arts and academia, as opposed to pure industry and wealth creation. Many often point to the Yorubas' deep appreciation of the arts as the reason why many of Nigeria's most prominent cultural icons, such as Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti and the Nobel Prize laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, have been of Yoruba ancestry. But to say that the differences between Nigeria's three main tribes,
the so-called rising sun of Biafra, is set forever, it will be a great disservice for anyone to continue to use the word Biafra to refer to any part of the east central state of Nigeria. The tragic chapter of violence is just ended. We are at the dawn of national reconciliation. Once again, we have an opportunity to build a new nation. You will have heard that my government may seek the assistance of friendly foreign governments and bodies, especially in the provision of equipment to supplement our national effort. There are, however, a number of foreign governments and organizations whose so-called assistance will not be welcome. These are the governments and organizations which sustained the rebellion. They are thus guilty of the blood of thousands who perished because of the prolongation of the futile resistance. They did not act out of love for humanity. Their purpose was to disintegrate Nigeria and Africa and impose their will on us.
to say that the Nigerian government did not do enough to bring healing and reconciliation in the years following the war would be a gross understatement. Even the federal troops that were deployed to assist in the resettlement of the survivors of the war would be accused of taking advantage of the people that were there to help.
About the behavior of your troops. Many women say they've been molested and raped. Many say their property has been taken away from them, looted. Do you know anything about that?
I don't think that is true. To say general looting and raping and rest of it, that couldn't be true. You know, in every war, there's always one or two soldiers who will behave in the out of the general pattern. And well, I won't deny that there would be cases of this. And you do realize that it's not very easy for officers to be there all the time to check this type of thing. But everything is able to keep the soldiers out of the villages, out of the roads, out of the town.
But here in the centre of this town, I've personally seen soldiers taking household gear away from people's homes, loading it onto trucks and driving away. The sergeant major stopped one truck and made them take some stuff off.
אוטונומיה, מדינה. הם גם זוכים לדיכוי ביד קשה של הרשויות. המנהיג שלהם נכלא ונאלץ לברוח מביאפרה ומצא מקלט, כאן בישראל. עכשיו בואו תשמעו סיפור שכנראה לא שמעתם עליו, שמתרחש בניגריה, ולמעשה בביאפרה. כולנו אולי זוכרים את השם ביאפרה שמדברת על הילדים הרעבים שם, אבל מסתבר שבחבל הארץ, שבדרום מזרח ניגריה, יש אוכלוסייה גדולה מאוד, עשרות אלפים, יש טוענים מיליונים, של אנשים הרואים עצמם כיהודים ושואפים לאוטונומיה, מדינה יהודית עצמאית בביאפרה שבניגריה, הם גם זוכים לדיכוי ביד קשה של הרשויות. המנהיג שלהם נכלא ונאלץ לברוח מביאפרה ומצא מקלט. כאן בישראל, ממש לאחרונה, הוא נמצא איתנו כאן באולפן. I want to congratulate you and to thank you for coming us. Mr. Namdi Kanu, thank you, from Biafra. Thank you so much. We will shortly tell the story of how did you happen to come here. But let's talk a little bit about your people's story in Biafra. How many people there consider themselves Jewish, and how did it manifest itself?
Well, Biafra in total has about a population of, say, 70 million people scattered all over the world. As you know, they've called us the wandering Jews of Africa. Mm-hmm. But those that identify themselves with their Jewish heritage is nearly about 50 million people.
50 million people?
50 million people.
Do they practice Judaism? They practice Judaism?
A significant number of them practice Judaism.
In what way?
In terms of their prayers, in terms of the Torah that they read, in terms of the kippah, the talit they used to pray, in terms of their recitation of their prayers, is a very significant segment of the population that actually practice it as we do, or most of us do in IPOB. The problem is that when IPOB is the indigenous people of Biafra, is this umbrella movement all over the world that is pursuing the emancipation of Biafra from Nigeria. So what's been happening is that when Christianity came with colonialism, a lot of our Jewish heritage was suppressed. We were made to feel ashamed of our Jewishness, so to speak. But luckily, unfortunately for us, a lot of people bravely maintain that very tradition and culture till this very day. If you go to Umueri in Anambra State, it is there. All over the world, it is there. And even the Encyclopedia Britannica of 1929 mentioned it quite specifically, that the Igbos are the Jews of Africa, because all the traditions you have from circumcision to everything that you can think of in Leviticus.
We're talking about the Igbo nation, the Igbo people.
Yes.
Not all of them are Jewish, right? Not all the Igbos are Jewish, or they are.
They are all Jewish. The problem is that with the influence and influx of Christianity as a result of colonialism, a lot of that was dampened down. What happened was a lot of our emphasis was moved away from the Torah, the Old Testament, to the New Testament. But because the Old Testament still contained aspects of our tradition and of our culture, we accepted the Bible as it was given to us.
Okay, we have a short clip showing you guys in Biafra in your Judaism way of life.
Yes.
it's the sound centuries of colonial returning to what they say are their native roots. A place quite fascinating.
Very, very fascinating.
Now I want to look at the map of Biafra and Nigeria, and maybe this map tells a little bit of the story. So actually, you guys in Biafra, what are you struggling for? What is your aim in your struggle? Why there is such a confrontation between you and the authorities?
Because we want to go back to where we were before the British came. Most of our problems was basically made by the British. The way Nigeria was put together is the root cause of the problem.
I'm talking about these days. Okay, there was a war and Biafra was kind of independence between 1967 and 1970, I guess.
That's correct, yes.
And since then it's part of Nigeria. What do you want? You want an independence state of Biafra? You want to be a Jewish state? You want kind of autonomy? What do you like? What do you want?
We want an independent Jewish state, a Biafran state that is absolutely independent of anything to do with Nigeria, for the simple reason that we were independent before the British came.
But you want to be a Jewish state?
Absolutely. To go to a way of life. There's a place called Arochukwu where we come from. The same way you have Jerusalem. The same way you have the temple in Jerusalem, we had one in Arochukwu. The same thing. So we want to go back to that way of life, to worshiping the one and only true God that we know.
Is there anyone within the Israeli establishment that recognize you as a Jewish people?
Absolutely. I'm sure that during the time of...
I'm just interrupting. This is you praying at Western Wall at the Kotel?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I prayed there also in the year 2013 when I came to Israel.
So coming back to my question about the recognition by Israel to your Jewish way of life or to your Jewish heritage?
Our Jewish heritage, yeah. And our way of life, yes. Isaac Rabin made some statements about that. Also, Henry Kissinger, the former United States Secretary of State, also made some comments about it as well. If you go to the Nixon papers regarding the Biafran War, it's all there, very clearly spelled out. But I think there seems to be this kind of paranoia that should Biafra get closer to Israel, that 70 million people will somehow flock to the land of Israel. But that is not the case. We are seeking Biafra, so we can return to Biafra and be in Biafra.
Let's go back to your personal story. You have been persecuted or arrested in Biafra. What was the story about?
I arrived in Nigeria, in Lagos, on the 14th of October 2015. I was arrested from London. I was arrested for demanding for freedom for my people, because I run Radio Biafra in London, and the authorities didn't like it. Then I had to go I had to go home basically to see my people, and they arrested me and kept me locked away for 19 months.
19 months?
Yes, despite 2 court judgments to set me free. They took me to court, and the court...
More than a year and a half in custody?
Absolutely.
And then what happened?
And then they eventually granted me bail with very stringent conditions. When I came out, I continued to speak to my people. I continued to practice my Judaism, my Jewish faith. And one day they came to my house to kill me. The Nigerian army came to my house to kill me.
What was it like? I mean,
I wouldn't wish anybody to go through it. They killed 28 people in the process.
How many?
28 people died.
By the attempt to kill you?
To kill me, they killed 28 people.
How come they killed 28 people and it didn't get to you?
Because my people evacuated me before they could get to my bedroom.
And then you flew away?
Then they took me away and smuggled me out of Nigeria. I needed some time to recover, which I did, and then I had to make my way to Israel.
I see you're very excited.
I would call it excitement. I would say relieved that I managed to make it to the only place that I feel safe in the whole world. I could have gone back to England, but I still don't feel safe to go back to England. That's why I stayed in Israel.
Okay, we're approaching the end of this conversation. Do you have any expectations from Israel government, from the Israeli society?
Yes, it is to live up to the obligations to defend Judaism and Jewish faith all over the world. We are being persecuted. We are suffering as a people. And it is the responsibility, I believe, moral responsibility of Israel to make sure that Biafra stands as an independent entity in Africa.
Namdi Kanu from the Igbo people in Biafra. I want to thank you so much for this conversation and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Personal level. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Biafra. Oh, hey, Biafra. Please, we are sorry for taking too much of time. Thank you to the national body of Padova Italy for this opportunity. And thank you to the Italian government. Our guest, the Sindago to be in Padova, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you so much. Biafra bless you. That's how we say it. You can say a party shot to us.
Bye-bye. Thank you for hosting me, and good luck for you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you.
All right. Please, the lights. Please, can I on the lights? Here is a big dark. Please, the lights. Please, if you know you are a coordinator and you came late, you not refreshed your oath, please. You are needed outside. A coordinator that came late that has not refreshed his oath, please, should go out. Okay. And as our traditional and cultural group are getting ready, I want to invite our sister all the way from Vicenza to come and kind of word of conciliation. Sister Flyber, all the way from Comune di Vicenza. A round of applause, please.
Hello, Biafra. I am very proud to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. But one thing I want telling you, I am even very, very angry. Why I am angry? Because as the lady said before, so few people are speaking about Biafra. They are speaking about Ukraine. I love Ukraine, okay, but Biafra, why no one is speaking about Biafra? I don't know. I am very, very angry. I try my best with all my family, with all my friends, with journalists to speak about Biafra. All the children are killed. No one speak about them. We are very, very angry. The Biafra is suffer too much. What can we do? I always speak and call the coordinator of Vicenza, Onyeka. I try to be strong. I want that everyone speak about Biafra. Biafra must be free. We are a good people. We are good, but we must go on with our fight. We must go on because next step is Brussels. In Brussels, everyone must know who is Biafra and what Biafra wants. So please, let's go on. Let's be strong and never give up. Okay? The last thing I want to greet Mr. Mazi Kanu. He must be strong. He has our effort. We must pray for him. Okay? All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra. Thank you very much. Please a round of applause for her. Thank you very much. God bless you, man. God bless you. That was a wonderful encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cultural stage, kind of entertainment, and I believe our teams, our cultural groups are ready. I want to present to us the cultural group IPOB here in Italy, heavily led by Mazi Aganeku. Please, a round of applause for them, please, if they are ready. Mazi Aganeku, are you here? Mazi Aganeku, we are waiting for you.
aka na-ekwu mgbomgbo
ịgba ndị eze
ana m anụ ka ọ na-ara
ana m anụ ka ọ na-ada ana akwụkwọ aka hie ana akwụkwọ aka hie Ladies and gentlemen, you know we are working with time here. Please. And those outside, please. After you, they should all come in, please. Let's round up. Those outside come in, please. Let's round up, please. We are almost at the end of this very event. Please, those outside should come inside. Anyone who just change because how can they want to anyway?
Nkwụnye gị n'ọkụkụ wafịa. Onye Biafra ọbara Biafra na-arụ mmalụ ihe o kwesịrị ịdị na-eme. Barrister na judge.
If you are waiting for those of us outside, please, you are waiting for those of us outside, please, to come inside.
On the man alone, need to
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, let's have a seat. Please, you need all outside, please. Thank you very much.
I